All right, I'm ready to go.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Broken by Concept, episode 32. This is the second one for the year.
Yes, this is our second episode. We got to welcome all our new subscribers, Curtis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, since we went famous, we got famous on Reddit.
How many subscribers did we get?
Oh, I think we got like 350, dude. 300.
350 from that Reddit post.
Yeah, from that Reddit post.
Bloody hell.
And our spikes in our downloads have gone up.
Really?
So think about it. The last episode we did, the season 11 extravaganza ranked guide,
Yep.
was 711 downloads. It's at, and
Yep.
the episode before that was 329.
So it's like doubled. Over doubled.
Yeah, over doubled.
Wow.
And then this is an interesting stat as well. Everyone goes back to download our first episode.
Really?
It has 841.
Yeah, everyone wants to start from the beginning, dude.
I think it's because it's called Broken by Concept Episode 1 Beginnings. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
interesting.
they're probably expecting us to
It's like a season.
have no facial hair and like just like these little kids and
It
stuff.
wasn't even that long ago. It was
No,
only a
wasn't
few
that
months
long
ago.
No, but I thought that was interesting.
So
So yeah, we're going to welcome everyone, Curtis.
Welcome.
Welcome everyone to the Broken. Hopefully you're going to become a loyal BBC listener like the
I mean,
rest
I
of
was
us.
very dubious about putting it on Reddit.
We would never. I mean, everyone
'Cause
knows
I'm just a
our-
Reddit hater.
Yeah, everyone knows our opinions on Reddit.
We're not Reddit users. I don't even.
We don't think it's the most useful
No. I don't think many productive
conversations
actually occur on Reddit. But you know what? If we can help a few more people, then I mean that's what we're here to do, right? Help more people. Help people have a better ranked experience, a better relationship with League, have a
Absolutely.
healthier relationship with League.
We talked about that in one of our episodes, having a health. I can't remember which one it was.
I mean, that's something we're going to have to talk about a lot.
Yeah, we'll
that's
bring it
going to. I
back.
want this to be the theme of this entire podcast: is
Yeah.
how to have a healthier relationship with the game. You know, because we see it all the time. People have terrible relationships with the game, and makes their entire gaming experiences negative.
It also affects our game as well. Their real
It
life.
affects your real life. We've seen it all the time. We
People
literally
have emailed us.
well, someone emailed us saying that they had fights with their family, or was it their girlfriend or something?
abusing her girl, but he'll snap if he started losing ranks.
It's terrifying. I mean,
Yeah.
if that happened to one person, imagine how many other people are out there having a similar experience without even realizing it. That's the terrifying thing.
It's
You don't
pretty
even
scary.
realize it because you're just in it. You're in the shit.
Mm.
But it's pretty fitting that we have new, subscribers because it's actually timed perfectly with the new season as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually where we should kick this podcast
All right.
off.
How's our season 11 started, Curtis?
So it's been a few days in to season 11.
I think it was so cool that OS is like ahead of everyone else because I think we're the first server when
Usually we're like
season 11.
the trash server that
Yeah.
everyone forgets, but we're first, which is pretty cool.
Because I was sitting there playing ranked, and they were like my NA people, like just sitting there just waiting, dude. Just playing in the preseason. I'm sitting there like grinding,
Yeah.
giving my placements.
So last episode,
Yeah.
you made a bit of a promise or a pact
Yeah.
to the Broken by Concept listeners.
Yeah, we did.
Saying that you were going to review all of your games.
Yeah.
You were going to not spam games either.
No,
What did you say?
that's what I said. Yeah, I wouldn't spam games.
you're not going to spam games and you were going to review every game.
Quality over quantity.
So give us an update, Nathan, on your beginning of
Alright.
season 11.
So let's start with I'd say it's all positive, but you could view some of these things as negative.
Okay.
So I'm pleased to report that I've reviewed every single one of my games and written notes for all my games.
Okay.
As of today, recording this podcast, I've played 26 games so far this season. I am Diamond 1 0 LP. I am 12 wins and 14 losses. So I have a 46% win rate.
Yep.
And my Nunu is currently my best champion, which is most played, 9 games played with a 78% win rate. Hecarim coming in at second, 7 games played with a 14% win rate. And then my Eve, I've only played 3 games and I've got a 67% win rate. So, some findings, Curtis. So, I had this thing where... So, right now my 3 main champs, there's the 3 champs that I coach at the moment. Nunu, Hecarim, and Eve. And those champs I should be playing, but sometimes I get stuck in my head in champ select, where like this is a really bad Eve game, or like a Nunu game, or a bad Hecarim game. And then what I have, I did a game where I picked Trundle, had barely played Trundle at all. I thought in theory it was a good Trundle game. Trundle feels really bad, to be honest, right now. But also, like, you so regret it after the game. Like, just pick. I'll feel like I'll be so much more useful. I just picked my main champs.
This is no champion mastery.
There's no champion mastery, and I just was walking around the game, and then the next time I picked a Graves, right, and I did really well in the early game for fundamentals. So this is what I figured actually from champion mastery. You can get carried in terms of fundamentals. Let's say, I don't know if it translates to lane, right, but for jungle, like I got an early dragon. We were like 10-2, right, in the early game. But once I got to mid-game fights with Graves, because I had no champion mastery, I felt so...
You don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
You don't know how to win the game. You know how to get a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the exact same in mid lane. I mean, that's why I tell people, who cares about counterpicking all the time?
Yeah.
Because you know what? My theory, say for example, I told people when playing Echo at lower elo, right? They say, oh, I get countered by Kassadin all the time. Yes, Kassadin's a pretty bad matchup. But at the same time, it's like, how many Kassadin mains are there? If someone's like picking Kassadin randomly, just to count, they looked up on LOL counter or whatever, saw that Kassadin's a counter. The chances they're going to be able to translate their lead or even get a lead in the first place, if you just know your champion better, like if you just minimize, relax, play off your key power spikes, you're going to play skirmishes just better. It's a test of champion mastery, and you're spot on. Like and that's something that when I saw your OPGG and I saw you play Graves and Trundle, I was like, dude, what are you doing?
I know. And I just had to get that lesson though. Even though I knew it, that just sealed the deal. Like, it's not so much, again, the early game's all good, but I can't explain the feeling when you get to, especially mid to, like, if you haven't closed out the game where there's no team, like, usually there's at least one team fight in a game, right? And all it takes is you losing that team fight because you don't know how to play the champion to start losing the game.
No, but also the important thing with having no champion or very little champion mastery is that you don't know how to play from behind either. You probably know how to play from behind way better on your call for champion. So say something goes wrong, you get a little bit behind. You're not going to be completely useless, although, on paper, your champion may be kind of useless. You're going to know what you can and can't do. You're still going to have a role in that game. But the problem is with having little champion mastery, if you were to get behind even remotely as Graves in that game, you don't know what the hell to do anymore.
No, literally.
You have no role. Yeah. You don't understand what your role is in the comp itself.
That's exactly what I felt. And it was just a terrible feeling. And the whole game, like when it got to the mid-late game fights, I was like, oh man, like I should have just picked Nunu Hecarim on Evia.
It's a very painful experience. You got to have it. I mean, it's good that you had it this early on though.
Yeah. And then I did it twice with the Rek'Sai, but I'm pretty confident with Rek'Sai because I hit Grandmaster last season at the early start with Rek'Sai with like a 60-65% win rate.
He was your best champion, I think.
Yeah.
Well, according to your OBGG anyway.
Yeah, it was my best champion. But then I just haven't played it. I'm not warmed up with it at all. And I just had some shocking games. So those were some lessons. Also, some notes as well. One recurring theme that I'm having is compensating for my teammates' mistakes. I had a game that I just played then, like it was like potentially a game-losing mistake where, it's like you're trying to help someone. That people, they're getting collapsed on, and you're like, sometimes I go there, and this is what you actually notice was from my gameplay, is I go to like protect people and like die for people a lot for some reason, right? And I'm like going there, I'm risking my life to think that he's going to get out, but like, I can just either do something on the other side of the map, or he's dead, he's just dead.
He's just dead.
And it's just not identifying that quick enough. Like, compensation, man.
Compensation's a very, very big one. I'm going to make, I think, in my next 2 videos is probably going to be, one of them's going to be about compensation. I'm going to make a video specifically on it. Compensation. Which even your jungle people could get value from it because it's the same thing. It's all about skirmishes, compensating.
Well, compensating is even worse sometimes for junglers because then they're actually spending their resources time helping a lane that's like lost or losing. Or, what's happening, someone's spamming them to say, come help me, come help me.
When you know they're not the weak one. Yeah, that's terrible.
But even though, okay, so this is great as well. I'm feeling pretty good though, still with my ranked. Like again, on my main 3 champs, actually minus Hecarim, because the Hecarim I'm just lost at the moment with. I don't know where he's at.
So you think Hecarim is it a combination of you not being as good as Hecarim, or is it a combination of Hecarim being bad as a champion in the current meta, or what is it? What's going on with Hecarim, you reckon?
I think I tried 2 games with Phase Rush, and they were good Phase Rush games in theory, but Phase Rush Hecarim versus Conqueror Hecarim are like almost 2 different champs. And I'm just not comfortable on it. I think I was playing for the team comp mindset
rather than just
play the Conqueror, Hecarim. I know how to play that. That's what I'm good at. I hate Phase Rush, Yeah,
I know what you mean. Okay, interesting.
So sticking to what I'm good at. So
what are your learning objectives right now? What are you trying to focus on?
So I'm definitely focusing on tracking enemy jungler.
Okay.
And share. So basically it's information gaining and sharing with my team. So like I get into game and like I'm instantly looking at all their summoner spells. So I know like, okay, who's got flash? I mean, who's got, teleports, who's got ignites. Like for example, I was against a Camille. I don't know if you played against this guy. I know he plays like TP Ignite Camille top.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
And that helped me so much because I understood. And then I got into that situation in that game where it was like an early gank, and he would have got away if he had flash. And if I thought he had flash, I wouldn't have gone for it if I thought he had flash.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like stuff like that. The other thing as well is just getting everyone awake out of the game starts at 15 seconds. I just danger ping Threshers and Leonas. It's like careful, invade. Like you just want to try and limit the chances of getting deaths to invades.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to gain information and share information with my team through danger pinging, and then typing sometimes. I haven't muted all, by the way.
I think that's just a rookie mistake, dude.
Is it? I feel like that's been fine. I think chat's been fine for me at the moment.
You know what? I actually think it's been way less toxic now than it was in preseason, but it won't last.
Yeah, it probably won't last.
It's just right now everyone's just like, oh, you got to try hard. It's a new season. Like, I mean, I'll be a little bit less toxic and blah, blah, blah. But it will come back, dude. There's no doubt in my mind.
What else can I report? So yeah, that's the big one. That's the learning objective that I'm working on now, and I think I'm getting pretty good at it. Like I just came off a Nunu game there.
Yeah.
And before this podcast, we lost, but I like almost won the game for my team. I had like 3 hard losing lanes. With Nunu, it's very difficult to play because you need other win conditions. Because I was just playing very well. Like I feel like that was challenger level Nunu stuff right there. I had all the information. I knew when to concede my camps. Like Camille was missing top, even though my 3 top side camps were up. Just not even going there.
Yeah.
Wolves just go bot side. So yeah, information. I just love information in League of Legends. F keys.
So you're getting better at seeing information and knowing which pieces of information to share.
Yeah, to share, and then how to use that information.
And how to use it.
Oh, because the first day, my F keys were shocking. It was shocking. Like literally, I had 0 information, and I was just clueless the whole game.
My day 1 was absolutely shocking as well, dude. For some reason,
I don't know why that was,
dude. I had the worst micro or mechanical.
Was it micro
day.
For you?
Dude, I couldn't even control my camera.
Wait, was it because you...
I don't know what was going on. I felt shocking, but I played anyway because it was day 1.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake we said.
That was a big mistake.
It's like Christmas. You wake up for Christmas because we were so excited. It's like, new season started, like, let's go rank 1
I was playing
grind.
shocking, dude. Like, my day 1 was just like... Just really uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah.
Very uncharacteristic for me.
Wait, did you play heavily the days leading up to it? Like, were you warmed up? Were your hands warm?
No.
Okay.
That's probably another thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was for me as well. I didn't really play at all, so...
Because I feel like way better now. But that day 1 was shocking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it seems like... Okay, so I think it's good. I think the trajectory you're going on right now is
I'm just playing on my main, dude. I'm just going to get 1,000 games in, dude, on a 49% win rate, 50% win rate.
That's it.
I'm going for it, dude.
Yep.
I feel like I'll be much better.
The process you're going down right now is great. I think it's really solid if you can stick with that.
Yeah, and that that's the thing that's really good is the confidence in the process. Like I'm playing pretty bad in some games, especially those Hecarim games. Like they were just shocking games. Me played like mechanics and I just felt so sloppy and stuff, right, with phase rush and stuff.
Yeah,
and then I was just like, instead of like getting really frustrated, it's like understanding the process. Actually, I did get really frustrated in one game where I felt absolutely hopeless. Like. Playing against Vibes Elise, and like I mean, I guess that was just
to give clarification to the podcast. There's like this Elise 1 trick. There's 2 actually. There's 2 Elise 1 tricks in Oceania in like Master around Master, and they have this one style,
and everyone knows about it.
Everyone knows about it,
but they still die. Like I even ping it. I even warded for him everything, and it still
works.
Died.
It will still work.
Like the learning that I got out of that game is I just got to fight fire with fire. I need to hard trade sides on the other side of the map. But the hard thing about it is Lisa's just better at every other champion.
She's just the best. You're just playing her game.
It was difficult, man.
I know the way I view it a lot of the time is just like when I'm versing those people, Elise, there's 2 of them. There's Elise Brutality and Vibes, right? Yeah. I just like hold on and then get a shutdown and just like just sit tight. Like I'm in for a ride. Like it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
It's gonna be an insane.
But like game. I know that they're gonna be useless at some point, or like they're gonna throw their lead.
At least doesn't drop off as hard anymore, Curtis.
It doesn't, but they throw their lead the way they play.
That's true. Yeah,
they give shutdowns. Yeah. They get really fed, but they give their shutdowns. Like I won a game versus one of them recently where like They just went mid, and I just got a shot for like a 500 goal shutdown as Victor, and the game's just over.
Yeah, as Victor, because I mean, you can just like stall the game as well as Victor.
Yeah, I can stall the game forever. But yeah, I mean, so I think that you're on the right trajectory. You just got to keep it up. Consistency. It's only been like a few days, so you just got to keep this up.
That's right, dude. I don't care. 46% win rate, dude. I'm having fun, dude. It's great.
So for me,
yeah, what did you learn here, Curtis? You're just working on your Victor guide though at the moment.
Yeah, I'm working on my Victor guide. I've been playing Victor on my main, having a lot of success. I've played like 7 games on my main with Victor, and I've won 6 out of all 7. And I would say that for me, okay, so one thing that's really surprised me is how snowbally this state of league is right now. In mid lane.
Expand on that, Curtis.
Like, I don't know. There's never been a time where I felt like dying once has meant so much.
In the history of League of Legends.
In my experience, playing mid lane league.
Yeah.
That's it. I just feels like...
Is it the champions you're playing, or...?
No, dude. Like, it just feels like people now, the way the game has evolved, I think it's a combination of a few things. I think the meta we're within slightly, but just I think the overall... the way the game has evolved in the sense that junglers really understand how to push leads. Laners know how to push leads. Mid laners specifically really know how to push leads. And when I'm playing at this level of play, we're playing at like, versus pro players and things like that, the early game mistakes are just massive. Like, I can't stress, whenever I look at a review, there's I'm not to say the game's over. The game is not over. I always, even though I know I make a bad mistake in the early game and I get behind.
What's the next best decision?
I play it out. I play it out and I do what I can. And I win those games a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But the game is so much harder than it needs to be. And so I'll give a specific example. I was playing this game where I was playing Victor into Syndra. I played a flawless early game. I was just played flawlessly in the lane, the early, first 5-6 minutes of the game. Then, my exact same situation that I did with you did with me, and you died to my laner under tower. You weren't patient, you just dived in and died.
Yeah, that was a game losing mistake.
So because that game, I win that game for you if you don't do that.
That's right.
So there's that, but Sybil did it. Exact same situation, complete domination, choked them with the tower, they're no HP, and then they just die. Dives and dies, and gives a kill to Syndra. Now, I was playing really well, so I brought it back and created another great situation where I was building wave and low again. Sybil ease over the walls, echo, and just gets one shot by Syndra and dies again.
Yeah.
So I haven't even interacted, I haven't got a kill or an assist, but my mid laner's got 2 kills. And then the game just got out of control.
And you've been playing lane insanely well.
No, this was actually one of the few games where I genuinely got a bit... I wouldn't say tilted, but I was very frustrated. Because I was frustrated because I know the jungler, and I know him, he's like a friend, and I know he's better than that. But also because I played the game so well, the lane so well, that I'm going from a very, very high point to a very low point instantly. and then I lose focus, I overcompensate, trying to get it outplayed.
Yeah, that's all it
and
takes.
Then I die,
Yeah.
and then he's 3-0, and then the game just explodes, and I'm useless.
That's tough,
that
dude.
was a game where the point I'm trying to make here is that those mistakes, those 1 or 2 mistakes that the jungler made, the game now was completely out of my control. It went from being completely in my control to instantly out of my control within the space of 2 minutes.
What could you have done better? Could you have shared the information, pinged him off or something, saying don't dive or something?
The first one I could have. The only reason I didn't was because, the situation was perfect, and also it was a relatively high level game, and it was Sybil. And Sybil plays like that.
Yeah.
And he's usually pretty good at that stuff.
Yeah.
But he just misplayed micro-wise.
So you trusted him?
Yeah, I kind of trusted Sybil, and he kind of knows what he's doing. He's not like a random jungler. This guy's been playing for a long time, and he's a pretty good SoloQ jungler.
What about when I did it in your game, Curtis? I even knew that. I was pinging, Elise was there.
No, it's just your level of play, dude.
It is my level of play.
I don't know. I didn't get tilted at that, actually.
It's ridiculous. I was tilted.
I got tilted more at Sybil because I know he's better than that, whereas you was just
No,
you haven't seen that situation that often, I don't think. So you haven't because Sybil should be in that situation a lot.
You
don't play like that.
Yeah.
You don't play the champs that do that.
That's true.
So it's I was like, oh. Okay.
I mean, I understood the concept. I just can't put brain to act.
The way I viewed that was you just can't control your emotions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's no.
I gotta get it.
No, because it's ridiculous.
He's
it's
reaching.
I have Hecarimol. This guy's disrespecting
Just leave
positioning.
it. He's not disrespecting, dude.
He was actually disrespecting.
The least is right behind.
Yeah, no, I'm emotional with Katarina.
It's emotional.
Players. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And that was another one. I played flawless laning. I'm actually going to make a video on how to counter Katarina from that laning phase. It was perfect. It was literally a masterclass.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was a masterclass.
Was that in Curcio?
Yeah, it was in Curcio. Yeah. It was an absolute masterclass on how to counter Katarina.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to make a video on how to counter Katarina and how to throw a lead actually at the same time.
Yeah. Both all in one.
Yeah, all in one package. But yeah, no, I actually wasn't upset at that. Because you haven't seen that situation often. So it's like, I can kind of understand why you would make that decision.
I have in my reviews.
Oh, really?
Reviewing
then it's just emotional control then.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. No. What it is actually understand the long-term picture of the game. So right there in that moment, it's like kill goals.
Small wins.
Small wins.
It's just small wins. That's all it is. Small wins. But anyway, for me, what I've realized in terms of, that's one realization, because when that death happened, it changed the game.
Yeah, no, different game.
Different game.
Yeah.
So it's like one death or one significant mistake is absolutely game changing. That's one realization of, I kind of knew that, but it means more now more than ever. And the other thing I realized is that there's times in the game where I don't take into account my jungler's location when making a strategy or a plan. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. I have a sticky note on my.
So what do? You always look at do you have like a little process you do? You just look at the mini map.
Well,
it's like before before any play you're doing aggressively, you will look at where your jungler is.
No, I should just always every lull state, every little in between every wave, in between every.
Where's my jungler?
What are they doing?
It's good.
If you can do that as a mid laner, your decision making increases.
That's really good. It does. That actually helps a lot.
Because I remember when I looked at like my mistakes in my other games, most I'm not gonna say all of them. I would say a solid 75% of my mistakes come down to not knowing what my jungler's doing in that moment. Like I'm making a play or creating a strategy, or have it like a plan set in motion that doesn't actually even make sense given what my jungler's doing. They're on Krugs, and I'm like,
so they're just clearing the camps.
Yeah, they're really low, or they're looking for a bot play, or like they're coming out of base, or they're resetting. Whatever they're doing, they're just not here. And doing what I'm doing right now doesn't make sense. Like, why am I playing like this? Why am I trying to heavy trade? Why do I want them to come onto me right now? It's just bad. It's just really bad. So yeah, I'll say that's my major learning objective, and I would say that. Yeah, funnily enough, there has been less toxicity, although I do mute all. Oh, I mean, I've actually mute all now recently. I kind of mute all as soon as one thing is said, but I actually don't recommend that for the average player. I want to actually make this extremely clear. If you watch my replays, you'll see this. You'll see me not mute, and then as soon as one thing is said, I'll mute all.
Yeah.
But I actually don't recommend that. I think I'm
mute all from the get-go.
Well, because I'm actually pretty confident in my ability to like. As soon as something says one thing, I'll instant mute, and it doesn't even affect me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, that's all it takes. All it takes is one question mark, or one emote, or one ping, or whatever it is, and they're out of the game. They just check out, and they just ping them back, or whatever they want to do. So I recommend mute all. And people try to tell me recently, like, I think like the benefits kind of outweigh, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, no, they don't. They just don't. No. Just mute all, okay? It saves you a lot of pain and suffering.
You remember, you can still communicate with your team by typing.
Now, there's a few things we want to cover today, but tying on from this, within the Discord community, I'm disappointed.
You're disappointed in your Discord community?
I am.
Okay. Explain.
I mean, the amount of conversation about, placements, about win rates, about how poor their games have been going, or whatever it is. Just relax, dude. We are 2 days in. You've played 10 games. And I always say this. Every single time someone says this, I say, oh, great job. Or, you know what? You've played the first 10 out of 1,000 games. 1,000 more to go. 990 to go.
It means nothing in the grand
scheme of
things.
It's just nothing.
Think about how many periods of like 50 games or 100 games where you just autopilot and not focus, tilt in. And
it just really... people are very good at getting in their own head, and they're very good at just making things difficult when it doesn't need to be. Because the thing is, this is just the sad reality about League right now, or not even sad, I would say the difficult part about League, is that you're not going to see the same problems every game.
No.
It's unlikely. I mean, some people might be very fortunate and the same problem is, I'd say it's pretty prevalent 90% of games. Usually that's just not the case. So when you're looking in your reviews, sometimes it's actually going to be quite hard to figure out, where you should direct your focus on. That's why sometimes you have to play a considerable amount of games to see the trends, to know where you should be directing your attention. You might play 20 games, and it's not until 30 games played, you're like, all right, I'm starting to see what's happening here. I'm starting to see the trends. I'm actually just not really aware of where the enemy jungler is. I'm not thinking about their gank timers. I'm not thinking about what amount of gold I want to reset on. I'm not thinking about my tethering, whatever it is. You have to just pick one or two things and hone in on it. You're going to get overwhelmed if you don't do this.
Overwhelmed to the point where you don't just learn anything anymore.
And this theme, the podcast, what we're going to talk about today is one of the things is creating bad habits.
Okay.
And getting worse. So I've had a few people, I see a few people, I'm not going to say names.
What's the difference between bad habits and invisible narratives that we've talked about on the podcast before? Invisible narratives.
Well, I think invisible narrative is just like an actual, it's like a mental thing. It's like a way of viewing something.
Yeah.
But I'm saying specifically, you're getting worse. Like physically. Like you're doing something that's literally making you worse.
But the more you play,
the worse you're going to get.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I actually think sometimes when I listen to some people's reviews, the way they're going, they will get worse. They're actually on the decline.
All right, so let's have what's a specific bad habit we can start with? Because I'm trying to think of bad habits for junglers.
Just overcomplicating why something goes the way it does. Like, let's just say, for example, let's just say, for example, you take like a bad trade. You could sit there for 20 minutes, probably looking at the micro details of that trade and looking at why you did that or how you could have optimized it and things like that. You can just get so in your head that when you go into that next game, you're playing that champion, you're thinking of so many things that are completely unnecessary that your actions are just going to be lower quality and you're going to have a worse, to be honest, you're going to have a worse result. But this is actually going to just create so much anxiety and so much pressure that then you're going to play worse and you can just create bad habits playing like this. Like you can actually get into really deep holes. You get where I'm coming from? It's hard to articulate.
I'm trying to think. Do you have an example of a bad habit for a jungler?
I would say, okay, a jungler. Okay, I know one. Not assessing the quality of priority or like what like the lane matchup actually means. Like let's just say for example, there's like you got like an Orianna versus a Talon, and the Orianna might even be pushing in the Talon slightly, but the Talon can still get there and is going to be way more effective in that fight at level 3 no matter what, unless the wave's huge.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's an invisible narrative, isn't it? It's just thinking.
No,
it's just thinking that my laner is pushed up.
It depends on how they frame it.
Have priority.
Let's get specific about that situation, right? It depends on the way they spoke about that situation. If the way they spoke about that situation was my mid laner never has priority or my mid laner never helps me on the scuttle,
I
would say that's a visible narrative. But if it was, maybe they just like literally they didn't even think that, they just like got caught out or they panned their camera but they didn't assess the quality of it. It's like more logical, more specific,
Okay.
Like not everyone who makes a mistake has like an invisible narrative around it. I just want to explore this concept of just getting worse and just creating bad habits.
Because you know how you said that people like overcomplicate, let's say.
Yeah, do you get that overcomplicating or not with junglers or not? Because mid laners, I get it all the time.
I think it's the opposite in my eyes. It's like they don't get in depth enough. It's like, let's say why a gank failed. They're missing a lot of things.
Yeah, there's probably so many variables they're not considering, right?
What's another one? Because remember, it's the trading laning. That's not a thing.
Okay, let's actually start from more of a high level, and then we'll go more detailed here.
Okay.
So maybe I'm losing the audience here a little bit because I'm trying. There's a lot in my head. I can't really articulate.
I'm getting lost here as well, Curtis.
Okay. The reason I say overcomplicating is because people just feel like they need to do so many crazy things to win a game.
Yeah, okay, so that's a huge
That's where
one.
it starts.
Yeah, okay, this is actually what I found from my gameplay as well. Actually, I already know why my Hecarim games were gone terrible. I feel like I have to do something early game. And I'm just forcing.
Yeah. Yep.
But again, that's a bad habit. It's not an invisible narrative. Oh, no, it's a little bit of both.
But it could be a bit of combination.
Yeah.
The thing is, dude, like, I just hear, like, someone who's silver or gold or platinum. You talk about on your website, your losers game versus winners game.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to articulate this. And Helia in my Discord is the first person who's actually come to me, he actually said this in the Discord. He said, holy shit, Curtis, like, I just realized the higher elo you get, the less you have to do. All you have to do is do your job.
That's right.
That's what he said. And when I heard him say that, he come to that realization. I was like, thank the Lord.
One person
gets it. All you have to do is do your job.
It's so funny you say that because I played a Rek'Sai game. Because you know what it is for me as well, Curtis? Is that I'm playing in like really high elo lobbies now. And I feel like I got to do stuff. Because like the expectations. But it's actually the other way around. I got to do less.
You do less.
There's probably like... Okay, of those, I got a 46% win rate. That could easily be a 60% win rate, or even 65 if I did less.
Yeah, the higher elo I've climbed, I realize the less you have to do. In the sense that, like, when I play Victor, right? I'm talking about this in my Victor guide. All I have to do is take great trades, jungle track, and maintain great CS. If I can do that.
That's what a great Victor
That is a great Victor. They do those. And that seems very simple. And it is simple, but it's hard to do. It's very difficult to do the simple things consistently without dying. Yeah, I don't have to roam. I don't have to call crazy fights. I don't have to go into the jungle, pick people. I don't have to do anything like that. My champion on that Victor specifically is very simple. That's why I recommend simple identity champions as well. That's why it's great for learning the fundamentals. But anyway, what I'm getting at here is I think that people like... Because they're losing and they're confused, it has to be a complex reason as to why they're losing. There's no simple answer exists.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, that's definitely something that
there is a simple answer, and the boring simple answer is the solution. Like,
always, it is always the boring simple answer.
It's always the boring simple answer. Yeah,
like this gank failed because we didn't look at priority here. Yeah, like.
And I feel like teaching mid lane is really hard, like impossible sometimes, because there are so many things that it could be, and they're all simple fixes. But if you try to think about all of them at once, you're going to get overwhelmed. Okay, so we have there's one guy in the Discord, right? And he probably has a lot of knowledge about the game. But when he analyzes a trade, he's thinking of like every bloody reason as to why that trade went poorly.
So what's some examples?
Like a trade goes wrong on a champion, and he's like, I wasn't thinking about my jungle's location.
But those are valid,
I wasn't thinking about. I wasn't considering how much energy I had. I wasn't thinking about I wasn't using my wards. I wasn't thinking about their summon spell. Well, there's so many potential things here, right? You can't go into a review and pinpoint all these reasons as to why it didn't go wrong and then feel great about going into the next game. Isn't it just going to affect your mentality?
I guess.
Like, if you think everything, you recognize all these things that are going poorly, you're just not getting anywhere.
Well, that's just beating yourself up, negative self-talk in a way as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Just like, I just suck, man. Like, I got all this stuff, like, oh, man, like, now this goes wrong, and, like, now I'm not warding correctly, but I felt like this, it's like, oh man, this is just too hard.
And I think this all ties down to, we say it again and again, is you have to be willing to lose a lot of games.
Yep. It's great, dude. I already feel myself getting better by just losing games. I've learned so much from my reviews.
You learn naturally as well. That's the other thing I've realized. If you play with intensity, you come in with one or two learning objectives. Yes, you're probably not going to win every game, and there's probably going to be all these other problems that you're focusing on. But you're slowly improving, right? You play these games with intensity. You just follow the formula. This is it. Follow the formula. Have a schedule. Block of 3. Review each game. Focus on 2 things. Stick to your champion pool. Focus on champion mastery. you will climb with my content, with my coaching, with Nathan's coaching his content. You will know what to do.
Okay, this is actually funny.
It's all in front of you.
Curtis, this is a slide track, okay?
I just want to keep it as simple as possible. I just really want to keep those. And you know what I want to do?
Yeah.
Is I want to make it so that you can't ask a question until you've ticked those boxes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a schedule? Yes or no? Do you review your games? Yes or no? Do you have 1 or 2 learning objectives? Yes or no? Do you play a small champion pool of simple kit champions? Yes or no? Until you answer you say tick yes to all of them, then you're allowed to ask a question. Oh, actually, no, the last one is, have you played a lot of games? Mm-hmm. If you haven't ticked all those boxes, you can't ask a question.
So it's simple advice, right?
Yeah.
But, okay, this is an example, Curtis, where you have to explain to me the psychology here.
Okay.
So I have one of my SoloQ clients, okay? He knows who he is, okay? We were all ready to go. We did some reviews. He was getting really excited for the next season. He started to wake. He had like a gamer schedule, but now he started waking up at like 7, 8 a.m. All good, and he's like, he said multiple times, I'm going to do 3 block sessions only. Right? He watched our podcast. This is what I'm gonna do. The first day, I kid you not, okay? He plays like 10, 15, like 12 games in a row, and he like wins like the first 1 or 2, and then loses 8 games in a row and just doesn't stop playing.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't play, and now
fascinating.
And now his thing is season 12 is mine.
Oh my god, dude! I literally had a guy as well that I coach in my kangaroo. Yeah. Same thing, schedule that. Yeah. Guess how many games he played on day 1?
How many games?
24.
24 games.
24 games.
Bullshit.
That's what he said to me. He said he played 24 games in day 1.
How do you play 24? Do you accuse us? That's not possible.
In EU.
In EU.
Yeah, he plays in plat.
Holy shit!
He just played all day. All
and
night.
Did he have success? Or?
No, he said he had a negative win rate.
Got it.
Yeah. It was actually very close. It was like 12 and 12. It was like 12 and 13 or something. It was like 11 and 13 or 12 and 12. It was like basically even. It went nowhere.
And he told you before he was going to have a good schedule and everything? How crazy is that?
Doesn't spam games and he went 24 games the first day. I told him, holy shit. Because he said he woke up and he said, I woke up to my scuffed account. It's 12 and 12. It's bad, dude. And you know what this is?
Yeah.
This is something, doing what we do. Yeah. I've learned a lot about human psychology. And one of the things I've learned is that people are terrible at controlling their emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're shocking at controlling their emotions.
Well, people are so short-term focused versus long-term. Like, they're not thinking, okay, let's say you play 24 games.
Yeah. At some point, you have to realize that you played so many games that another one's not going to help.
No, you're not going to get any better. Think about, you said the waking up the next day, right? Versus if he just played 6 very high quality games, you might want to play more.
Yeah, you are going to. I've done that so many times. Just stop. I've done that so many times. I want to play more. Just stop. Yeah. You were bad at this last year.
Yeah, I was
last
really
season.
Bad. Yeah, that's why I was stuck in Diamond like the whole season.
Yeah, you can't do it.
No.
This is a fascinating, and this is proof actually why you play worse, even though you think you may not play worse. Ready? So with my content, I have to play really high quality games at my max intensity, thinking about everything to express my level of play and actually get good quality content, right? Now, I've never, ever gotten a replay for in the entire time I've been doing YouTube from playing a game at nighttime. All of my best VODs and the games I use for my content is always when I'm playing at my peak around midday or in the morning. Yeah. When I'm playing at my best. I've never... So if all those games are after dinner, so from say 7 to like 9, sometimes I play like 2 or 3 games there, that block, I never have gotten a single good game. That game worthy of content from that period of time.
Even though you've done the 3 blocks.
Even though I've done 3 blocks. So that just shows to me, my best quality games are always in the first 2 blocks, the first 6 and before that time. I've never had a good game. I can win games. It doesn't mean I don't win games, but I actively know that those games are way lower quality. And sometimes I just do it. I mean, I do it anyway. I play my 2 or 3 games then just because like it's worth me playing then just to learn. Like I know I'm not playing at my 100% best, but I'm still doing I never play more than 3 at that point in time. But that's proven it to me. That's enough evidence for me. I've done that for a year now. Never. Not a single one. Not a single VOD I've done gotten past dinner time. How fascinating is that?
I'm trying, but again, I've never had a proper schedule, so...
All of my greatest games are in that block between like 12 and 4, 12 and 5. So anyway, tying back to this thing, man, is that the bad habits. I'm just convinced that if... Okay, let's actually say there's bad habits, or there's two things here at play. There's actual getting worse and creating poor habits, and then there's also creating toxic narratives. You're going to do one or the other if you overcomplicate the game and you don't really try to simplify it, and you just don't pick one or two things.
So one or two things to improve on the learning objectives.
That's it.
That's it. Nothing else. Like,
I know, Nathan. I
overcomplicate it.
just haven't seen it. I haven't seen someone who is gold or platinum or diamond.
That's we're focusing on two things.
That has made it to, climbed in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Recently, we're talking in season 10, playing without learning objectives, having an area to focus on, and without reviewing the game. I haven't seen it. Like, I mean, look, I'm open-minded, and I'm willing to admit that I might be wrong here. I could be wrong. Maybe it's more common than I think. But I've actually seen more people get worse and go lower rank than higher rank.
Yeah, there'll definitely be more in the category. I mean,
There's way more in the category of people getting literally worse. Okay, and by worse, let's get even more specific here. What do I mean by getting worse? I mean, taking worse trades, dying to more ganks, tilting more, not knowing, like just getting caught in side lane. Just literally specific areas of your game will get worse. Have you had that? Have you gotten worse, Nathan? Have you created bad habits that literally made you worse?
Yeah, but I couldn't name them.
Well, the other thing as well you need to understand about habits is that I believe, I'm under the theory, I mean, this is not really proven, it's just a theory, is that you don't actually unlearn something. You don't get rid of a habit by just breaking it. I actually believe you replace a habit. It's called grooving.
So let's use me as an example, right? Because
Okay.
I was the biggest, I was a one trick, right? One trick Udio essentially, right? Or not so much one trick Udio, but also the way that I played the game was super one dimensional, like one trick-ish, right? Which was in season 3, season 4. Massive, I played the losers game.
Well, according to you, by the way, according to my theory, you shouldn't exist.
Really?
According to you, you should not be able to get better at the game. Because I think...
Yeah.
I again, this is the other thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a one trick who got high elo in the past go down, rebuild, and then actually climb? Have you seen that?
Well, Will has done that. He was a one trick Sejuani Nunu player.
A two trick.
Well, two trick. Well, no, he one tricked one champ at one time and then the other champ at another time. To master tier 200 LP and then
how low did he go?
Probably D2, D1.
So he went all the way to D2.
And then learned Lee Sin and all the proper champs.
Right.
And then climbed.
Also, he's actually been done.
Yeah, I think
that's so rare,
Yeah.
I mean, I very rarely saw it.
Let me think of another one. No, but I think he's a bit different case because he was so young. He's 13.
Well, he was
12
really young
at the time.
Oh, okay.
13. So he could probably unlearn things.
Yeah, or he had enough time.
Okay, again, not unlearn things, but go deeper onto now. Now we understand
habits.
Aggressive early junglers like Lee Sin Italy and stuff like that.
Because there's someone in my Discord, right, who was a Veigar. He got to Diamond 4 as a Veigar one trick. Right? And then he spammed Syndra when Syndra was OP and got to D2. Now, in my opinion, I mean, I don't think if you've played that champion for a long time and you get to that rank, there's no going back over the fundamentals, in my opinion. Actually, no, I had an Alawi one trick come to mid. No, Mordekaiser one trick, and he was Alawi or Mordekaiser, and then he come back and learn it, and he dropped so many ranks. He got to diamond, and now he's in silver, but he's but he's building it up, and he's actually having results now. He got to gold recently.
Right.
Yeah, he's building up. He started from scratch.
Whoa, dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
Dude. That's a huge hit. Shout out to that guy. Dude.
Yeah, he's a beast.
That's a
and he's in my Discord. He's a really nice dude, and he's popping, and he's actually getting results now.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm able to think, I think he's actually been able to do that. He's viewed it as like, it's like a whole nother ship that sailed. It's just like, it's not even him. Like, he doesn't even view himself as a diamond.
Yeah.
I got diamond.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm literally a silver brand new mid laner. How many people can actually do that though?
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I got a couple of coaching clients that are one tricks. That'll be interesting to see what their season looks like. They're trying to learn other things. We'll see how they go.
Because one tricking is just so bad.
I had this
so toxic.
I had last year this one Diamond 2, and for Nunu one trick, and then went to learning Graves and Kindred.
Let me guess before you say this or not. If he was a D2 Nunu one trick,
Yeah, guess where he
where he learned Graves
and Kindred.
I reckon he would have went to at least Platinum 3.
Platinum 4 playing God MMR games.
Yep, makes sense. If you're a one trick out there listening to this, you are not. Say you're a Diamond 1 Vlad one trick, whatever you are. You're not a Diamond 1 mid laner.
What happens with specific champions? Like, if you're a one-trick Akali.
Yeah, so this is where it gets controversial. If you're actually
Yeah.
one-tricking a really good champion
Yeah.
or a high-skill cap champion,
Like
it's a little bit
610.
different.
Was he a one-trick Echo?
He was one-trick Echo. Yeah, he never dropped way lower because he was pretty good at the game
Yeah.
from Echo. That's why one-tricking melee champions, like if you're a one-trick, like say if you were like a one-trick Yone, you're going to be pretty bloody good at the game. Or if you're a one-trick Akali, or if you're a one-trick Fizz, or an Echo, or like any of those like melee, high-skill cap melee assassins, you're probably going to be pretty bloody good at the game. To climb with those champions, you got to learn a lot about the game.
Yeah.
But they're not as common, dude. You just don't
Yeah,
hear of them much.
those don't exist.
Like, when have you ever... You don't
You,
meet many
usually
of
it's
them.
someone that got to Halo with something, with a couple of things, and then they just went all in on Yone or something like that. Or,
Yeah, or because like
Akali.
not many people one-trick champions that can't be... or are hard to play from low elo.
Yeah.
Like, usually people one-trick a champion that they stick with from, like, silver or gold.
Yeah.
And they just stick with it.
Yeah, like Annie one trick.
Yeah, like an Annie one-trick or like a...
Alawi.
Yeah, something weird or easy, simple champions. Like
Yeah.
a Vlad or a Swain.
For
or-
jungle, it's like Nunu, Shyvana.
Yeah, Shyvana, shit like that.
Yeah.
Warwick.
Dude, Warwick means they don't make it. They don't make it very far. Guys.
No, they're stuck. They get stuck.
They can't make it past plat, dude. It's a struggle.
Yeah, it's not good, dude. I mean, look, I want to keep this to less about one tricks. I just want people to be careful that it's possible to create such. If you stick to your toxic ways of reviewing or not reviewing and not sticking to your small champion pool and not setting a few learning objectives, if you keep playing aimlessly, you might just get worse. You could just get worse. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying for all of them. I just think it's possible. And so for someone who is a one trick, right? I actually don't even recommend going back to scratch and square one. I think you create a new toolkit. You adapt and you evolve. You find out a way to utilize the strength that you've developed to find a way to play champions that are maybe similar, that play off your strengths and just own your identity. Like that dude, right? Who's like a Vega. He was a Vega one trick in T4.
Yeah.
I don't think that if he played like say like I was a one trick for like 3 seasons, I think there's no going back. I think he's got to the point of no return. There's no such thing in my opinion as going back and like learning the mid lane fundamentals of like stuff. That's my very pessimistic, cynical view of it. I think that he should just accept that he has maybe some very poor habits, but he has a lot of good strengths.
Yeah.
Find another champion that's very similar or has a similar identity and just all in on it and start expanding and develop your toolkit. Because I've seen it happen I've seen it random like high elo Grandmaster Plus one tricks who just own their identity.
They do, yeah.
They just own it.
Well, I mean, it depends on what...
The thing about those elite one tricks.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not
they
that
do.
great junglers, but
No.
they own their identity and they have fun doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you still get to that high elo, like, I would still say that they're good junglers, again, on that champion, but they definitely understand good fundamentals around jungling, like trading.
Yeah, but think about it. There's probably a lot of skills they don't have.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But they've owned that.
Yeah, they've owned
They
that.
don't need to get exposed in those other areas.
I mean, yeah, I did, again, I was an Udi, I was a tank-only player, right, in the jungle, and then I had to learn the aggressive style, and then I started playing Jarvan, Rek'Sai. It was bloody hard, man. But this is what I said to you, like, I had so many invisible narratives. Like, so this is my a simple invisible narrative, okay? Because I play like scaling champs in the jungle. It was literally, oh, okay, if I don't do something early game with this early game champion and I'm against one of the champions I used to play, instant GG in my head.
Yeah, in your mind.
Stop trying, Nathan. You cannot win because I know how. Because if I'm in those shoes, I beat me all the time, right? But again, that's such a shit way of viewing it, dude. Because
you're not present.
the bet when I was playing Rek'Sai at my best last season, when I hit Grandmaster with like a 60% win rate or whatever, that was because I actually switched my mindset saying Rek'Sai is a scaling champ. He's a scaling champ. Like, I can still do my job in these team fights. Like, let's say I'm in like a late game team fight against a Katarina that's fed. Guess what my job is? I don't unburrow until she ults. Super simple. I carry the top fight, win the game. Like, that was such a... It took me months, years to get rid of that mindset.
Yep. And this is all because you dug yourself that hole, though.
Yeah, my hole was so deep from in an Udyr one trick and playing that full tank scale, just minimize. In my head was minimize. I could never do anything aggressive.
Shocking.
Because if I messed it up, I think in my head, okay, insta GG if I'm playing early game champs.
Now, this ties into one of the other questions I had on my Discord, which was, how does a low elo community actually have good quality league discussion?
This is such a good question.
Because, like, you can easily see how it could be negative.
Here's my initial thought, Curtis. What they do is they come together and they... You know how we talk about lower elo players should be focused on camera control and, like, you know, mechanics and stuff like that? Just to controlling that character. All you do is we look at VODs, how is a challenger player move in and their character compared to how I am. That's it.
Yeah, it's super simple, isn't it? Like, sometimes it's literally simple. It's just picking one thing and just look at someone else doing it.
Yeah, someone who's really good at it. It's like, okay, they do this, how do I do that? I mean, if I think about all the games that I got good at, so like World of Warcraft, right? I would just watch super high ranked players and I'm like, oh, he actually holds that ability or he uses that ability in that way. And my gameplay just instantly, I mechanically becomes so much more tenfold.
And I think another thing is, like, I think it's good to just come up with hypotheses and your own theories. But not that they're going to be right all the time. They're not going to be correct all the time. They're not going to be... You might even be completely wrong. But it's good just to have your own theory and be like, oh, you know, I thought that Orianna should have played it like this because of X, Y, Z. And then maybe when I come in, you can ask me a question and then you give me a specific situation. So be like, Curtis, what do you think about this? And then you have to have a better opinion or wait for a high elo player to come into the Discord and ask them a question. Not because you've have this fixed position where this has to be correct. It's no, all right, I understand that I don't know that much about it. I haven't had that much experience with the game. This is my theory. What am I missing? What have I not considered here? Is this the correct play? Just have an open mind. You might be wrong. You might be right. You gotta have just, and I like it when people come up with their own hypotheses and theories. I actually like it.
Well, unless they're not open-minded.
Yeah, unless they're not open-minded.
That I see that more often than not.
Yeah.
I don't know what your experience is with that.
Yeah, no, people are usually pretty open-minded in my Discord, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But you could easily see how people, you say you get a group of like 4 closed-minded gold players. I still think they could get worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
They could get worse at the game.
Absolutely.
It's a scary thought. Because people never, and this is the thing why I'm so passionate about, why I wanted to bring it up here and get people thinking about it, is that, no, you can actually get worse. It's possible.
By playing games, you can get worse.
And also another pet peeve. I mean, and I just gotta say this, dude. It's just
Alright, Curtis. What's the roast? What's the BBC roast? We just got all these new subscribers, Curtis. We're scaring everyone away.
I mean, this is a podcast where, you know, look, it's so boring just to talk about all the positives. I don't think I'd be doing my job. I don't think we would be doing our job.
Yeah.
As actual
leaders of the community.
If we're not going to talk about the realistic situation. I mean, I want this... Yes, this podcast actually can get pretty grim, pretty negative sometimes.
90% of the time, Curtis.
Maybe that's just the identity of our podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing a for fun podcast where we're all happy chappy, talking about all the positives of the...
No, actually, our podcast is relatively positive. We talk about healthy relationship with League. That's pretty positive and stuff like that.
The reason we're bringing this up
but
is
it comes
to make it positive, though. We're not...
Yeah, it's trying to turn the negative into positive.
We have to recognize what the negatives are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like the thing is I think at some point, in a way, like what you said before, if someone, and I feel like sometimes, let me articulate this right.
Take your time, Curtis.
Okay. When you are asking a question, let's say you're confused about something. Generally, if you really put your mind to it, you're going to have at least a rough idea of why something happens. And I want to, maybe this is more of like a level of critical thinking, but I understand that League's a very complex game. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that probably going to have the answer for you instantly. It's kind of like when you're in math class at school. You could go and ask the teacher straight away, like, let's just say you get a question. Your first glance at the question, you're like, this is actually really hard. Now, you have two options at this point. You can sit there and maybe, like, sit there and try and twiddle your thumbs over it and, like,
try and work it
out over time. Maybe give yourself 5-10 minutes, whatever it is.
Instantly get the answer.
Or you can instantly ask the person next to you saying, hey, Nathan, how'd you do this question?
You never learn that way.
Well, I think you still can, but you learn less.
Less, yeah, you do. It's true.
And I actually think what I think, and maybe I've really pushed this narrative, maybe with how available I am in my Discord. But sometimes I feel like with a question, I don't mind answering questions, and I love helping people. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like I'm doing them a disservice by answering the question for them.
I've now that I think about it, I've passively known this is bad because in my reviews, the more and more I've reviewed, I ask, okay, pause the VOD. What do you do in this situation? They have to come up with the answer themselves, and then I tell them what to do. I do that a lot now.
I did that with my thing today as well.
Yeah.
I was why is this? I said, why is this the correct play?
Because if I'm in dictator mode, in one ear, out the other.
Yep. And I'm worried that I'm actually hurting people by giving them the answer.
Yeah.
Because look, what I want, and let's talk about what the perfect coaching client is, or what the perfect questions look like, right? So about the perfect coaching client, or the perfect question. What a good quality question is, in my opinion, or someone who really needs help, is that they're on it. They've got this situation, where they really don't know the answer, but they've given it thought.
They're focusing on one thing, and then they have questions. They've tried. Like, okay, I've tried this.
Yeah, I've tried it. I genuinely have my own theory, and I want to actually get your take on it.
Yeah.
What am I going? What variables am I not considering? How come I don't? Why is this working? I've really given it thought. I don't know. I've watched videos. I just don't know. Because then it shows to me, because the reason when you ask that question, I'll know what you are and aren't considering. But if you ask this really broad question, I don't know. It could be 1,000 things that you're not considering here. But I can put you in the right direction and kind of actually give you a better tailored response if I know where you've come from. And the best coaching clients are the ones actually that already have a pretty good idea about what their weaknesses are. And they maybe have an area in which they would like to focus on. Because then I know where their mentality's at. Because
don't sometimes you need to shift their focus completely because what they're focusing on is a waste
that's,
of
but
time.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that they have a focus.
Yeah, they have a focus, yeah.
Because I love it. You know what? This is what I've been doing recently. A few of my coaching clients, they always, I say, hey, so what are we focusing on today? I ask them, I said, what do you want to look at today? They say, look, you know, I think my early laning's pretty good, but I want to figure out how I could have translated my leads. But I'll go over the early lane anyway.
Yeah.
And then I go into roast mode.
Yeah.
And then I expose them.
Roast mode because they shouldn't be thinking about
because then they come out and like, holy shit, Curtis, that was so awesome, because now I realize how it was actually nothing to do with me and how my teammates played or how I needed to control my teammates at 15 minutes. I put myself in a terrible situation by 12 minutes, which was all me. It was all in my control. That's great though, because now I know where I need to shift their mentality, what areas they're not considering and why. But they had something.
They had something.
That means a lot to me.
It does, yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's definitely, I mean, because, pretty much, probably most of the time, as much as this is going to probably sound like, oh, what's the point of even trying to focus on something because Nathan's just going to tell me that. Whatever they're focusing on is not where they should be putting their attention on.
But it's good that they are, though, because it means they're playing with intensity.
That's right.
They're playing with focus. They have, and they're not going to get worse if they're focusing on something. That's what I believe. If you're really focusing on one thing, at least you're not going to get worse.
You're not going to get worse.
But you're going to get worse if you mindlessly play. You could get worse. I'm not saying you will, but you could. You know? See where I'm coming from with this one? This is where I've been thinking, like, maybe I'm actually doing people a disservice.
Yeah, it's big. It is big. And I just feel uncomfortable when I go into dictator mode in my coaching. I genuinely feel uncomfortable.
I love high quality questions.
Yeah, high quality questions are pretty cool.
Like, I can tell a high quality question straight away. Like, I had a really high quality question today, right? By this dude on my Patreon. And he asked me, he said, Curtis, like, he actually listened to my advice. He picked up the champions that I said, and he's been doing what I said. He's been getting him results. And then he's like, so I've been thinking, you know, my secondary role's actually been AD carry. And I've been coming up with this specific... I've had this specific problem where, like, it doesn't feel like any of my skills that I'm learning in mid lane are translating to AD carry. And he said, should I continue with AD carry because it doesn't seem to be working for me? Or what should I do here? And then that's a pretty well thought out question. It's a problem. Mm. He's had a crack at it. He had a theory about why he should be playing AD carry or whatever it was. And then I corrected him. And I said where he was going wrong and gave him some advice moving forward. That was a great question. And it tells me a lot about that person. You know, he's actually really thinking about how to improve. He's thinking about optimizing his schedule. He's optimizing how to improve as a mid laner. That says a lot to me. You know? But yeah, that's something that's been on my mind.
And you had another example of someone that was asking so many questions, you kept getting him the answers, and you stopped answering his questions.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that... Oh, I mean, that's what I said at the start. What I said at the start was, until you tick all these boxes... Yeah. These 5 boxes, you shouldn't even be allowed to ask a question. That's what I should realize. I need to start talking about more. First, if I get a question, really, like the same question... Like I said, I'm going to go through this 5 things. Do you have a small champion pool? Yeah. Have you played a lot of games? Do you duo queue? Did you review games? Do you have learning objectives? If you don't answer... If you... tick all those boxes, then you're allowed to answer a question.
You're allowed to ask a question.
Yeah.
It's like a barrier. It's like
a barrier to entry.
Yeah. To even ask a question.
That's right.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of lazy questions. I mean, a lot of lazy questions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. We've got to make it clear. That's what we're going to talk about here.
That's right.
Now,
I love your little note, your little post-it note.
Post-it note. This one's a big one. This one that's been fascinating to me. Okay. So I've had now 2 people. We had Ron and another guy tell me the power of visualization. Okay. Now we've had people in the past in Direwolves. Yeah. Specifically Shonefire.
I've talked about it on the podcast before.
Visualization.
The power of visualization.
The power of visualization. Yeah. So Ron, guy, he's a EU diamond. He's actually been playing a lot of AD carry recently, and he was telling me how he visualizes at night sometimes. Him like having beautiful movement. And like dodging skill shots. So he literally thinks about specific situations, dodging certain abilities, moving in a certain way, weaving in auto attacks, like literally just specific situations. And he said it had a really positive effect on when he wakes up, like as well. He's just had a really positive relationship with visualization. It's had a positive effect on his gameplay.
It definitely gives you confidence in gameplay. Yeah,
it really does. And now, I read a book on a Korean boot camp. 2018, I believe. The start of 2018 or start of 2018. And it was a book, I think it was called Making Lions Roar. It was done by Willie Rilo. It's a bloody weird book. I got it from Jono. Okay. I couldn't even find it. I tried to find it. Yeah. It's there, but it's only in as a ebook. Yeah. Like you can't even buy it.
Yeah, it's no hard copy.
It's a weird book. And anyway, it's about a famous coach I believe it was in the English Premier League. But this coach came from like the Italian league or something like that. And he had problems with some of his defenders where they had certain mental blocks with strikers. Like they had to defend a striker of a certain team. And I use this technique for when I help players overcome versing certain players in Direwolves. But one of the things that he used it was there's actually 2 situations. The first one was defenders defending a certain striker. These defenders in these situations, they actually got themselves into this really negative spot about, I can't defend this guy. Like they thought about this situation so many times that they can't defend him, that when it comes into play, the reality comes around the corner, they just shit the bed. They actually can't defend. They actually play worse, or they actually defend way worse than they
because
usually would.
they have
They've
said
convinced
themselves that there's no matter what I do, I can't defend this person.
Well, they have these really toxic, mental blocks with like versing a certain, and this can be in league with versing a certain champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
This can be.
Let's say that Katarina example before.
The Katarina example.
I want to kill the Katarina because it's a Katarina, and it's in Curcio as well. I want to kill this Katarina.
You have had all these painful experiences in the past, and you dwell on these painful experiences, and then it actually becomes a reality. The way you think sometimes creates a reality. And as he did the exact same thing with goalkeepers. Certain goalkeepers would actually have mental blocks for certain teams. They just visualize just losing the game or like balls.
So visualization has a negative effect in this case.
Well, no, the way he used visualization in this situation, he used it in a positive way to reroute their thought. So what he got them to do, he sat them down and he got them to like close their eyes, and their part of the exercise every day was to like visualize, picture the situation, picture the specific person's face, their number, the color, the situation. And literally be very specific, get it as much detail as possible, and envision getting the perfect tackle. And you'll just stop them in their place and they're not getting past you. Again and again, just visualize the same situation, all these different situations, they're never getting past you. And it had a massive effect on the defense.
Yeah. That's what it was. It wasn't more hard work, more training. It was just visualization.
These guys had insane mental, and this is how we fix it through visualization.
Yeah, just sitting down in a room.
Yeah, and this is what he talks about in this book. It's called Making Lines Raw, whatever. And this is one of the things he did, right? And it's got me always thinking, like, wow, this is actually a great tool for league players, both mental blocks with specific champions or specific players, using visualization to get rid of maybe a negative way of viewing a champion or whatever it is. And it got me thinking, what Ryan is actually doing here is he is actually just like positively reinforcing a set of behaviors. Like the way I view it in a very logical sense is that he's increasing the likelihood of X thing happening by thinking about it that much. So when that situation does come about,
you know what to do.
You know what it looks like. You know how it feels. Everything. And visualization. There's like studies done where if you're very good at visualization, it's basically the same, or in terms of the brain.
The human mind's very bad at differentiating what's real and what's not.
That's right.
So you can train in your sleep.
You can train in your thoughts, in your brain, without even playing the game.
Yeah.
And Sure and Fire did this.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I got ranked 2 UDR. That's what I was visualizing, doing, in my high school exam. That's what I always say. Like, I was thinking about UDR builds, like, path, and, like, how to minimize versus lease and lease in. Like, I would always be thinking about, okay, they're going to do this.
Powerful shit, dude.
Yeah.
And I had another client, he's been working with a psychologist or something, and he recommended visualization. And he's been using visualization as well. And he said he's been giving him insane results, confidence-wise. He's been visualizing, sometimes what Jono used to work with Divals was visualizing like you killing the Nexus versus this team, or getting that solo kill, or winning that team fight, or whatever it is. The more specific, the better, though. Ideally, it's a specific situation, like a matchup or a specific combination. Dodging a skill shot could even be like dodging a pike hook, or dodging a Syndra stun, or whatever it is, or having beautiful movement on Yone, utilizing that fleet footwork to dodge that Orianna Q. What does it look like? Feel it. So I wanted to kind of send that message out and raise it, because I think a lot of people that if you do have, maybe upon self-reflection, you do have a little bit of a mental block, or you have a negative way of viewing X champion or X situation, take some time to visualize. Do it at night when you're in bed. Just try it out. Give it like 2 weeks. Do it for 2 weeks. See if it has a meaningful change. In my experience, for some people's experience, it has had positive results. So I would give that a go.
I like it.
Yeah?
Let us know in the comments if it works for you.
Yeah.
Try it out. Maybe do some research as well. I might do some research on it.
Do some research on it, man.
I might write an article for it for my members.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting article, for sure.
All right. Should we jump into question time now, Curtis?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to quickly change the battery as the usual drill for BBC podcasts, and we'll be back in a jiffy. All right, everyone. Welcome back for BBC question time, or I like to call it Nathan's mailbag. Jingle, jingle, jingle song. All right. So, first question here is from, by the way, to our new listeners, because we're famous from Reddit now. If you have a question you want to email, us, it's brokenbyconceptshow@gmail.com. You
right.
put in all the YouTube descriptions, don't you?
It's in the description.
Would love to hear from you. Tell us your problems. Tell us your life stories. We love to hear them here on the BBC show. I mean, given the fact that we're so far behind in questions, we might actually just have to do a question episode.
So what we're going to have to do is a monthly one.
A monthly one, so it's going to come up. Because we have like 40 questions in the back end. It's ridiculous.
Jesus.
It's out of control. Even when we did that Christmas special episode.
Bloody hell.
And they just keep coming in, dude. There's a lot of people that need help. All right, so the first one here is from someone that I know very well. You might know him as well. The title of the email is called How to Coach Mechanics One-on-One. Hey, Curtis and Nathan. For a bit of background information context for this question.
Who is this?
This is Joey Senpai.
Oh.
I was one of the lucky few who was able to get into the first spots in Nathan's SoloQ coaching program back during the start of 2020. That would have been in March. He was literally one of the first group. I was effectively coached from high platinum to high diamond level, with most of my focus being on champion mastery, specifically Olaf. We did a lot of work on Olaf.
Yep.
Like all the details. He actually helped me make the Olaf guide.
Oh, wow.
Essentially. Because, I mean, I was working with him. I was like getting details and stuff. I feel like my understanding of the game as a whole has leveled up this year, and the results speak for themselves. I've been quite active in Nathan's Jungle Discord server, answering questions and doing some short-term one-on-one reviews with players who are also interested in Olaf. Recently, I decided to take a bigger step and reached out to a few of my league friends to gauge interest in some long-term one-on-one coaching with a large focus on Olaf. I got a lot of interest, and so away we went. It's been going well so far. I feel like my clients are getting decent results. After posting lots of my insight into preseason Olaf, new and improved jungle clears, etc., I got a request from Nathan's Discord server for coaching. But I feel like this might be my hardest challenge so far. This client has a sharp mind, quickly grasps the concepts I introduced to him, but his mechanics are what holds him back a lot of the time. What steps can I take to help him improve his skirmishing and team fighting? Thanks a lot for making the episodes. There you go. Well, we've talked about, we think this is very difficult as well. Teaching someone mechanics.
Yeah.
Outside of the obvious advice.
I mean, I have that video. How to improve micro.
Yeah.
And I give some tips there.
Okay, let's refresh our minds
there. Well, there's a few things. There's obviously those websites which can definitely help.
What do you mean?
Aim Booster and LOL Dodge Game.
Okay. Yep.
There's also the Mundo Dodgeball game. There's also one thing that I have. This is more for mid laners, but I don't know. Maybe it's somehow replicable. I actually don't know how it's replicable with actually what you could actually do with Olaf. You could like go in a custom game and like
it's all about your axes.
Like throw axes at each other and like dodge them or something. I don't know. You can figure out, maybe there's some form of like little tool you can do. Or go in lane, just lane each other and throw axes. I don't know. But for mid lane, one thing that I didn't highlight enough is having a friend who's at a similar level to you and just doing one-on-ones. Because the great thing about one-on-ones is that it really removes a lot of the complexity in the game. You don't have to think about jungle tracking. You don't have to think about support roams. We'll make it so you you can't even recall, so you don't even have to think about recall, goal timings, nothing. Like you can literally just like remove all of these variables and purely focus on like the trading and the micro and the mechanics and the tethering. And maybe a bit of the wave management, which is great. If you can remove variables and make something more simple, it's great. So for mid laners anyway, I think if say trading or micro and mechanics is something you want to hone in on, then I think getting a 1v1 partner at a similar level to you that is willing to receive feedback and going and actually have a decent high quality discussion, that's great. I think that's a great tool. Maybe you can create a very unique tool, Joe. Maybe there's a unique training exercise you innovate with Olaf. Maybe you get two people and you send them mid lane and they can only use axes and I don't know. Okay,
that could be something.
Maybe, so in Counter-Strike, there was a thing that we used to do when it was on Dust 2. One of the training exercises I used to do was that you could only use one bullet, then you would have to reload. One person would be sitting on the bomb site at A on like long, and one person would be down on the bottom near the pit. And then you could just dip, duck, you just dodge, you just move around, but you could only use one bullet, and it could only be headshots. and we used to do this for ages with AK, M4, and Deagles and stuff like that. You could somehow maybe do something similar in League in the way that you go to mid lane or you go into the river and you mark out like a line and then you like can only throw axes at each other. I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
I would recommend that. That's something I haven't really thought of.
I haven't really thought about it either. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking about Olaf specifically and you're doing Olaf coaching, then you should maybe create something for Olaf.
I mean, Olaf's got a lot of things as well. It's like mechanics for Olaf. It's more you're very vulnerable when you have to pick your fights very wisely as Olaf.
So I actually created a tool. I'm going to talk about in my Victor guide, an exercise.
Yeah.
Is your wrist okay?
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
Feels weird.
It's just playing too many games. I'm just kidding. It's fine.
So I created an exercise for Victor.
Yeah.
And because I realized that Victor E usage is so important. So yeah, I'm going to talk about this in what I'll recommend you on my Victor guide. Check out my there'll be one of the slides. We'll be talking about Death Ray. Go to that slide, and I'll have an example, an exercise. Maybe you can gain inspiration from that, and it might really help you. So try that.
What about let's say if you start playing it without Smartcast, an ability? Do you reckon that helps or not? You get to sort of understand the range a little bit more, maybe, and.
I think this is a practice tool thing.
Yeah.
I think you literally. So okay, let me explain what this. I'll actually explain what this exercise is in if he doesn't want to wait. My Victor's going to be out in like a day or two. It might make more sense.
This is a preview.
A little bit of a preview here. So one of the parts of the exercise is where you get a training dummy. You go into practice tool. You put on unlimited cooldowns and mana, so you can just spam it. And you move from left to right at max range, and you keep throwing your axes. Or in this case, your laser. What I would recommend for Olaf is mark out a line somehow, or sit in the bush, whatever you want to do, and practice throwing your axes at max range. Now, you need to play devil's advocate with yourself here. You need to be looking at your axes. Am I actually throwing my axes? Am I overshooting? Am I undershooting? Am I not comfortable clicking it? What are you not comfortable with? Is it the range assessment? Is it the speed? Is it you can't move while doing it? You can't go. What is it specifically? Maybe set an exercise to your clients where you only do it for like 5 minutes a day before a session, and put themselves and the dummies in certain situations in which you can replicate other certain situations. I don't know. So yeah, I'd play around with that, dude.
So that's an interesting one. So axes is obviously a big one, but my initial thought, the bigger problem, what he's probably thinking about is it's actually sometimes it's a lot about movement for Olaf. So I mean, picking up the axe is really important in between your auto attacks. This is pretty difficult. Olaf is actually, I think,
it is. It's actually a hard micro champion.
Yeah, it's a hard micro to maximize damage.
It is, yeah.
So at the end of the day, League of Legends is all like mechanics is about clicking. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Every click must have intention.
Well, there's to be more specific, when I talk about my video, I talk about clicking accuracy, clicking speed,
yep,
and the amount of clicks.
Is that not the same as speed?
It's like total amount of clicks.
Okay, total amount of clicks. Okay. Yeah, so it's really about the intention. You know, you just gotta have a focus on mechanics. Like you got to review every fight and just think about from your perspective.
No, but it has to be more specific, dude. Like this is
and look
this
at the intention
problem.
of all your. Oh, again, this is very difficult to do.
No, but this is what I'm saying in my video. What is it specifically that you're not doing? Is it the speed of your clicks? Is it the accuracy? Is it the amount? What is it?
Yeah.
Or is it that you actually can control your character really? Or is it even maybe your camera panning? Some people just have bad camera panning, and then while they're trying to pan their camera, they actually can't click properly. What is it? Because
is click accuracy the same as the intention of clicks? That's the same thing as intention, isn't it?
No, because you can have the right intention, but not being able to put it where you want to put it.
Okay.
So, for example, with Victor, there's
intention's really not in that.
No, intention is in that as well. What is your intention when you come to the skirmish? How do you want to click? Where do you want your clicks to be and why? Why? It's more the why.
Do I need to get into the position to dodge a skill shot or get into a position where I'm safe or use the brush of advantage?
No, because that's where you get very specific. Because sometimes in mid lane, right, an element of poor micro is actually not considering the range of the enemy's abilities.
Yeah, yeah.
So you need to assess what abilities, because what is dictating you to use your axe that way? Because you have to obviously know what that champion can and can't do based off their kit. So maybe is that they're not thinking about what the enemy champion can do. Like, you know why?
It's what's mechanics when someone throws an axe and they have an obvious dash? It's like holding your
That's
axe
not
versus
mechanics.
not. What's that? Decision making.
That's decision making.
Okay.
Why would they throw the axe at someone who has a dash?
I mean, that's a common problem that I would see.
That's not micro at all, though.
Okay. Yeah.
Micro is there's a stationary target
Yeah.
or a target that's moving,
Yeah.
and you can't hit it. You overclick it, or you overshoot it, or you undershoot it, or you put it to the right when you want it. Like you can't. You just literally pour mouse accuracy, whatever it is. Or maybe you want to attack move. I don't know.
I mean, his question is about coaching it. I think we're giving advice.
Yeah, I don't think you can coach it.
This is more advice like what you should
training
do.
it.
Training it.
You give in that case with someone who actually has a genuine micro problem. That's actually why I don't like coaching silvers, and I try not to coach silvers
because they can't control.
Because I can't control your character.
Yeah,
and you can't teach that. I can't do anything, and that's where the league is based off of.
Yeah,
nothing of mine really matters if you can't control your character. So hopefully that helps.
All right, well, let us know if you come up with some amazing process.
Yeah, let us know, Joe. I'd like to hear your regardless, even if I'm not. I know I'm not a jungler, but regardless what you come up with, send me a message or something.
All right, so this one is from Nam. Advice on withdrawal symptoms to gaming. Hi, Curtis and Nathan. My name is Nam, and I'm heading into my final year of VCE, Year 12. VCE represent.
Wow.
So for people that don't know, that's our high school system in Melbourne.
The last year.
In the last year of high school. We're going to have that sophomore and the junior. All that
I actually have no idea how it works in America.
Me too. I asked that.
But you're 17, 18 when this happens, yep.
Before this point, I used to be a big gamer, mainly playing League of Legends since Season 5. I wouldn't say I am seriously addicted to League, but I find it hard to think about League and watch League content even when I don't play. So I think he says...
I think he meant it's hard to study or something.
Yeah. So he's always thinking about it when he's not playing. Do you guys have any tips or advice on dealing with gaming withdrawal, as I do not plan on playing League nor watching much content this year because he wants to get good results for his VCE?
Fair enough.
I would love to hear your thoughts.
I don't think he's going to have withdrawal symptoms. I don't think... I mean, he might. Like, what is a withdrawal symptom?
Withdrawal symptom is...
Isn't it like a negative thing that you experience based off of like...
Let's look it up.
Like, I thought a withdrawal symptom is like a negative thing as a result of not doing something. Like headaches or like shakiness or something like that.
Yeah, like anxious or something like that.
Yeah, anxiety or something like that.
So, define withdrawal symptoms.
Well, what I would recommend, dude, and this is...
Here we go. The unpleasant physical reaction that accompanies the process of ceasing to take an addictive drug.
Okay, so this is my my theory. This is actually on all habits or poor habits, not even just like gaming, is that you want to make it as easy as possible for you to make the right decision, right? So, for example... You don't want to have to rely on sheer willpower. A great way of doing this is, let's just say you don't want to use your phone while in bed. A great way to do that is that you put your phone, you don't keep your phone next to your bed, because if your phone is under your pillow, you have to use willpower to not use it. But if you put your phone like on a bookshelf or in another room, you have to get out of bed, go all the way to the other room, and like do that, and then you have to put it back. So that is shit. You don't want to do that. So make it as hard. So for example, with you in League, maybe you actually make a new YouTube account for your phone so it doesn't recommend League content at all. Maybe you actually remove League from your computer and you actually play it on a separate laptop or something. Or maybe you literally uninstall League for a brief period of time. While you're going through intense periods. Maybe you study not next to your computer so you don't have to like be tempted to play League. Maybe you actually do your study at school or at a library. So that even when you're like frustrated with work, you don't just click on League of Legends and play it.
Well, again, it's not so much playing, it's more thinking about it when he's not playing.
No, but that's where it starts. I believe.
Yeah.
Like you're only thinking about... because
it gets triggered
and by the way, you're only going to be like this for like 2-3 weeks max.
Yeah.
Like, once you stop playing League for like 2-3 weeks, you will not be thinking like that. As long as you're not feeding it all the time by watching constant League content. Like, you could probably watch it every now and then, but you got to, the initial like period of 2 or 3 weeks after you like stop playing is going to be difficult. You should try and go cold turkey, ideally, for like 2 or 3 weeks. I reckon that's what he should do. You should ideally go cold turkey for like 2 or 3 weeks.
And that will help him.
Then he can like maybe have a better relationship with it, you know? Yeah, that's my main, I mean, I don't know much about withdrawal symptoms. All I know is that make it as easy as possible for you to do the right thing. And be very specific in your schedule. How can you make your life easier to rely less on willpower and more just easy as possible for you? That's what I would recommend. Environment, very important. That's why I didn't, and one of the other reasons I hated studying at home when I was at university is because if I'm in front of my computer, the chances I want to play League is so high. But if I'm at school, I can't. If I'm at uni, I can't.
I just have no advice for this because I've always thought about League for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
You know? So,
good luck, according to Nathan.
Good luck, man. Just go down my route, dude, and just be rank 2 challenger.
Don't go down Nathan's route.
No, don't go down my route. That's very not a good idea. All right, and then he actually had a bonus question here. Speaking of high school, do you guys have any regrets you'd like to talk about from back when you guys were in year 11 or 12? You would have
a shit ton.
That wouldn't be probably
what about
appropriate.
you?
I have 0 regrets.
You really?
Not a single regret. Because I had to play. I had to fail school and be in the position that I was in. You know what I mean?
Well, if we're going to talk about study specifically, I don't regret anything with the way I condone my study. I think I did it very efficiently and I got the score I wanted. I just did a lot of practice exams. Practice exams are the key to success. But in terms of regrets in year 11 and 12, in terms of personally, definitely. I mean, I would have just been a lone wolf, dude. I would have just like everything that I wanted, I knew I enjoyed and like held back or was embarrassed about or whatever. Like, screw them. Like, being cool, whatever, about all that is what you should, the way you should interpret it is like, just be you.
Yeah.
The coolest people are the people they are so clear on their identity and they don't give a shit about anyone else. And I regret conforming, trying to fit in, trying to like agree with people when I didn't agree with them. I would just be I would just kind of go my own way and stop trying to impress people and just like, yeah, that's what I would do.
So it's interesting you say that because that's the exact what I did and I have no regrets.
Yep.
I was just the nerd loser video game guy. That's it.
Yeah, all in on your identity.
Yeah.
But you were more happy that way.
I loved it, dude.
Exactly.
I mean, not exactly, because you were higher up in the social hierarchy in high school, so you technically had a better high school experience than I did. You had more fun at high school.
But I think that you actually have a better. It's like better for your personal development.
Yeah, I would say
you gain more self-confidence.
Yeah.
I had so much fake self-confidence.
Yeah, you had fake self-confidence.
I looked confident, but actually deep down I wasn't confident. But you were more confident than me in a different way.
Yeah, even though I was so low on the social.
Yeah.
I didn't have a reason to be confident.
You didn't have a reason to be confident,
Yeah.
but you knew who you were. And
wasn't good at sports, wasn't good at school.
No, but that helps you later on down the track if you know who you are or take the steps. Because I wasn't even taking the steps to figure out who I was. You know? Like, I was in my own bubble. And like that was everything to me. But that's just so short term and just shocking. Yeah, figure out who you are, Nam. Take the steps. Don't conform. Just be you. Screw what anyone else thinks.
Easier said than done as a high school student.
I mean, it's bloody hard. It's so hard. You know, when I always think back, if I were to go back in high school, I'd be that dude that just like gets a book and just like reads by myself.
God, you get beaten up because you'll be bullied.
That's what I'd do, dude. I'd find a little nice sunny spot, have my little lunch, have a beautiful biography, and just dive into it. Just do shit that I find fun. Listen to cool music, whatever.
Good luck, Curtis, when the high school bully grabs your book and throws it across
No one does that, dude. No one does that.
Alrighty then. Next question here is from Terrificator. I assume that's his League of Legends name, not his real life name.
That's an awesome name. If that was his real name.
Hey guys, first of all, like everyone always does, I want to thank you both for bringing so much content to the community to learn from and just be entertained by. That is absolutely our pleasure, Mr. Terrificator. That's what we're here to do. I love the episodes, and a personal thanks to Curtis for making mid lane guides. It's helped and still helps me a lot. Each upload to improve on my gameplay, as I just started playing mid like 5 months ago. Keep up the good work, guys, and thanks once again. So my question is about scheduling and practicing your league ranked games. I watched the 31st episode of Broken by Concepts, the ultimate guide to season 11 climbing. That was our last episode,
Yep.
the one we got famous for from Reddit.
Stop saying we're famous. We're not even close. We're no
We
names.
get like 300 upvotes and 400 subscribers, and we're like, yes, we're famous
We're
now.
not famous.
I love saying that. I've been saying that like if you did like a drinking game for this, you'll be just plastered by the time I've said that this podcast. So the section where you guys talk about optimal solo queue schedule makes me question what you guys think about warming up before doing a block of 3 to 4 games in a set on a new fresh day. Could be maybe an ARAM, normal, a flex, or even queuing up on Smurf for one game or so. I know Curtis hates the Smurf one. I'm asking this question because you guys believe that playing a set of 3 to 4 games and taking a break is the ideal way to perform at your best without losing focus. Doing this at least once with a limit of 3 times a day. But then comes my question, should I play my first game of the day a ranked one? I usually struggle with pushing myself to play ranked, but once I finally do, I get comfortable enough in my second game and beyond like I usually am. Would it not be better in general to play a warm-up game that would not matter to me as ranked does to prepare myself for the first few ranked games of the day? Or could this be a problem that I have where I'm scared to play ranked if it is my first game of the day? Sorry for the amount of text, but I tried to do... Yep, all good. Much love from me. Thanks for what we do. Terrificator. So what do you think, Curtis?
Yeah, I believe in warm-ups, definitely. I was actually...
Well, you don't warm up. I don't warm up.
Yeah, but I think I would play better if I did.
Interesting. So what would you do? What would you do?
I would do either... Or I know Helia does the Lux bot drill, and he's had big results with that as a warm-up tool. That's something you can do. I personally feel really good after I do. So there's this thing that it's just for me. I mean, it makes me feel really good and warmed up is until I can like click really fast around my character and do these donuts, until I can do that comfortably for an extended period of time, I'm not ready to play. And on that day, that first day of ranked, I could not do that the entire day. Like I was clicking too slow. It looked disgusting. But when I can do that really, really fast donut and it doesn't even look like I'm just spinning on the spot doing 360, then I'm ready to play. Yeah. That's a sign.
Yeah, you're focused.
So I can actually click close to my character and I'm fast. So that's why a lot of the time in the start of the game, I click really fast close to my character, just get warmed up. I'm like keeping my APM pretty high. Yeah. But I would go into practice tool. I mean, in an ideal world, I don't know why I don't do this. I just don't do it maybe because I've just... I don't even know. I don't. There's no excuse. Yeah. Probably I should do it. Yeah, I probably will do it actually. And... I would go into practice tool and I would probably, the champion that I'm going to play, I would just start doing combos. If I was playing Echo, I would do the EQ Protobelt, Rockabelt combo, clicking really close to my character. I was playing Victor, I would do the max range Death Rays. If I was playing, what's my other champion in my pool right now? Yone, I'd probably do like combos on dummies, whatever it is. Whatever it is, I'll just spend 5 minutes just doing a few combos, killing jungle camps, clicking very close to my character, getting the fingers and hands warmed up, then I'll dive straight in. Doesn't have to be long. A few minutes, 5 minutes max, then dive straight in. Similar to what we did in Die Wars before scrims. Remember on Die Wars, we used to do a practice tool for 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes before heading into scrims.
You do that on stage as well before a tournament?
Yep, do it on stage as well. Very important. So that's what I would recommend. I don't recommend playing a full game. I don't think it's necessary. I really don't think it's necessary.
I think that's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Yeah. That's why I don't recommend that. So... Lux spot drill, all these practice tool stuff. That's what I would recommend, dude.
Yeah, as jungle, I think it helps to just do a practice of the clear.
Definitely, that's what Shern used to do.
Yeah,
Shern used to on stage. Shern used to do the full clear on his champion that he was probably going to play.
There you go. That's nice.
I always used to watch him.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
And he would, and because everyone else used to add max gold, max items, do mechanics. Shane was just doing like a standard full clear,
just like replicating exactly what happened in the game.
Exactly what would happen in the game.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's something. So yeah, try that out, dude.
All right, so we'll do our last question here.
Okay.
Improving as support.
Okay.
Something you might be unfamiliar with. So this is from Donraider 999. Pretty cool name here. Hi from Don. In Season 9, I was a meta slave, playing random champions and random roles and reached gold. Then in Season 10, I knuckled down on support and managed to get plat, peaked at plat 2.
It's impressive.
There are ways, drills to improve micro for all other roles. For example, the Lux bot drill, CS in practice, which has been talked about. For laners and doing jungle clear and practice tool for junglers. I didn't even time that.
What the hell? This
That's
guy
just-
read our mind, dude.
Literally just like perfectly like insert himself into the podcast.
Bloody hell.
The only thing I can do, like the only thing I can find to do as support in terms of drills is to do the LOL dodge game. How would you recommend scheduling LOL dodge game? Example, how long and how often? In general, how would I focus on improvement in support? So it's just a general question. I can imagine watch Challenger VODs and review games. What specifically do I need to look for in both?
So the question is, first of all, how to...
For drills,
two
how does he
questions,
warn?
is
Yeah,
it?
2 questions, yeah.
So the first one is what he should be doing to... How many of the drills...
The LOL dodge game. So
How
that,
long
so he
for?
thinks that in terms of warm-ups, he thinks that so the Lux bot
Yeah,
drill is not
okay.
relevant for him, and also the jungle clear.
Again, the stuff with support, it's all the same. I mean, yes, you don't have to do the Lux bot drill, but just do what I said. The combos and just like you got to. It's just less about what you do. It's more about warming up your fingers, dude. That's all it is.
Yeah, I think the Lux bot drill is.
I think the Lux bot drill would work as well,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Like, let's say if you're playing a,
You're like a thresh and you have like the coin thing.
yeah,
You still got a last hit.
yeah.
So yeah, I think the Lux bot drill makes
Even
sense.
not even just last hitting, just also just hitting champions as well. I think
Dude,
just warms you up. For
I
clicking.
really like with this sort of thing. It's less. Yeah, again, it's really less about what you do. It's about getting your fingers and your hands warmed up. It really can do whatever. It's whatever feels good for you. For you, if Lux bot drill doesn't help you warm up, then don't do it. If doing what I said before with combos with your champion doesn't warm you up, then don't do it. Maybe LOL dodge game doesn't even warm you up. Maybe aim booster doesn't warm you up. You got to try them all, give them a shot, and see what works well for you. I don't think there is one stop shop solution. I'm going to put that out there. I don't think there is the ultimate warm up. I think there are things that you could experiment with, but ultimately it really comes back to you. For me, probably if someone were to do donuts like me, probably wouldn't even mean anything to someone else.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like maybe it's even a psychological thing. I don't know.
Because you would always talk. You loved seeing in season 3, season 4, someone that was doing doughies.
Yeah, that's right.
You know. So in your mind, that was what best players did. So you think it's a good idea. It could be completely pointless.
Yeah. So I'll just play around with it. And in terms of duration, for me, I think actually, I read a book of poker, and they were saying how warm-up shouldn't be more than like 10 minutes max.
Interesting.
Like even then it should be 5 minutes, but 10 minutes max. Warm-ups should not be that long. That's what he was saying anyway, for mental exercises.
In general,
And what was the second part?
how does he improve at support?
This is such a...
Okay,
such an
so he
interesting
talks
thing.
about here, I mean, watching Challenger VODs or reviewing games. What should a support player focus on when reviewing their
Dude.
games?
Okay,
Early lane phase, how they use their wards,
there's so many areas.
sweeper,
Okay,
item builds.
this is something that I have a video on it's about mid lane, but the concepts still applies. It's about lane positioning. I think it's an advanced. The video might be called Advanced Lane Tips Lane Positioning, whatever it is. There's a concept they're talking about there about like imposing threats, and I use the example of a wide receiver and I think it's a wide receiver and I can't remember what the other role is in NFL and American football, where it's a mind game. It's all about like it's like assumed threat. It's about saying you're gonna go one way, but you're gonna go the other. It's about like this is where tethering comes into play and stuff like that. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is that with support, it's one of those lanes that is largely dictated by lane positioning. The best supports are masters of mind games, tethering, and threat. The best, I can't compete with them anymore. I used to be able to compete with some of the best supports on my server. I can't anymore. If I go support, I'm their bitch. At level 1, they know exactly where to position because they know how that level 1 trade goes, and I'm too scared to like call them on. I don't know if they're bluffing or not.
Yeah, you don't know if they're bluffing.
So I don't know. I don't know if they're willing to take that trade or they're just pretending they're going to go for that trade.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend in your VODs, watching VODs, look at the way they are positioning. Literally ask yourself, are they faking it here? What are they doing? Are they posturing? Because what this will do sometimes is create space for your AD carry to posture more aggressively, or it actually prevents the enemy AD carry from CSing, which gives your AD carry the control over the wave, which gives you gives you the minion advantage, which then allows you to get level 2 first, which allows you to take a trade, and then the lane's done. So just positioning in the lane is very important. Sometimes controlling the brushes. Sometimes you're trying to push them to one side. Sometimes you've got a pink ward in the river and you're pretending that the jungler's going to come, and that's a way to pretend that your jungler's coming when they're not. There's so many things you can do around lane positioning and just posturing. And then I would say that also look at how many times they auto-attack the wave and what wave states are they trying to bring about. Bot lane is all about wave manipulation and positioning. Look at those two things. Now, if those two things were like areas that you were pretty comfortable and you knew, then I would look for their, like, when they recall and what they do off every recall. Are they actually recalling out of vision, pretending they're in lane? Some of the best supports I versed, they like build 3 waves. They pretend that they're sitting in lane, or the AD carry pretends they're sitting in lane, but they're actually resetting in the bush. They get a free reset off, go through mid, gank mid, then come bot. And you don't even know that they've reset. So look for like how they reset, when they reset, why they're resetting, when they're resetting, and what they're doing off their resets. All that. Those 3 things I would look at. If it's a lot there.
I'm a jungler, Curtis. I love objectives.
You do.
I'll be thinking about, did I use my wards correctly around the next objective? Did I waste wards? Sometimes people waste wards and they just get swept.
When their junglers like show top side,
yeah,
there's no need to ward.
Yeah, there's no need to ward because it's like you can't control it. You don't have permission to
just
control
give it up
area.
or give it up. Yeah, you can't control it.
And also, this is one thing I think I'm really good at support is just resetting for 3 wards all the time, dude. It just so like if you can find situations where you have tempo of wards, this is the way I call it.
Right.
It's like you get on the map, you ward. They come to sweep it, but you've already basically got the next set and you're back on there.
So you know
again.
that's an advanced topic that I spoke about with Direwolves.
Yeah.
So I found it in LCK.
Yeah.
Do you know what used to happen?
What?
So this was in season, I think it was in season 8 or season 7. I saw this strategy and I thought it was genius. So say the game's like late game with 35 minutes in, and then everyone's playing around Baron and shit like that. And you know sometimes you're trying to create a window to do something. So what would happen is that they would reset together, they come back on the map, they go into the enemy's jungle, they push out the mid wave, they go into the, say we're blue side, and we shove out mid and we go into their like red, their area, prepping for Baron. The support puts all the wards down, he instantly resets, but the rest of the team stays on the map. He instantly resets, comes back. They've swept their jungle because they don't want any flank wards, right? This is how to get flank wards. And then they all sweep, spend their time sweeping, but you're already back on the map, already there, and you instantly replenish your wards, and their sweepers aren't up.
Yeah.
They actually can't sweep again.
Yeah.
So then they might miss one, or even if they don't miss one, you're already replenished them. Boom. There's a flank ward. You start the Baron or whatever you want to do, or make a play, and then you have the flank ward there ready to go, or you have more vision to make more plays. So that's how you get flank wards. It's actually, you don't get flank wards off the first placing of the wards. It's the second.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what you're talking about as well. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's very advanced. Flank wards is like...
That's very advanced
That's
stuff,
like competitive stuff.
But it's the same concept in a way.
Yeah.
You're just getting tempo in terms of ward usage over sweeper.
Because like vision wins games in League of Legends 100%, especially over objectives. Because guess what? Everyone fights over for in mid game, especially in your elo. People are going to go for.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a big advocate of getting a deep ward on Raptors, because you spot out the jungler. If you know which side they're on, it just changes the game.
I hate Raptors wards, dude.
Yeah, it changes the game completely. And the jungler doesn't even know they've been seen. That's the worst thing for them.
Yeah. Dude, I want to teach support, man.
Support would be a cool role. I reckon you could really help
teach
people.
Support, yeah.
Support coaching would be awesome, dude.
I'm gonna start a support channel.
That's it. I'm scrapping it.
Scrapping
my channel. I'm going to support.
Scrapping your coaching program.
Yep. All right.
What's going to be wrap it up? BBC episode number. Did you say it was 32?
Yep, 32. Lucky number 32. I'm going to say that every episode. Lucky number 32, 33, 34.
Again, I hope everyone, all our new people who came.
Why are you so scared? You scared we're going to lose our new subscribers and shit? We're going to piss them off.
I'm scared because they might leave us.
I couldn't care less.
We had such a good impression, I think, of the last episode.
They can stay if they want to stay. They don't have to stay if they don't want to stay.
Well, Curtis, if our downloads for next episode are back to 300-400s, we've messed up.
Again, I only want people to watch this if they really want to watch it.
We only want 10 people watching this podcast.
No, I mean, I only want people that like actually are going to execute and like
that's right.
want to grow and learn and be a better person and be a better league player.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's our motto. We should have a motto.
Yeah, we
Broken by
actually don't.
concept.
It should be having a healthier relationship with league.
Love it, dude.
That's a great one.
I love
Having
it.
a healthier relationship with league.
Maybe you can shorten that
You
again.
should.
It's like healthier relationship with league or healthy relationship with league.
Healthy league marriage counseling. I don't know, dude.
Your personal league
Your-
counseling.
Anyway,
Your league therapists. Broken by concept, your league therapists.
God help me.
All right, guys. We'll see you in lucky number episode 33.